Okay, I'm going to show you guys how to pull an air conditioning unit. Same thing, this air conditioning unit this is a 94 Chevy 6.5 liter diesel, but they're very common. They all bolt pretty much the same way as 1980s something on up to late 90s, early 80s, late 90s. If you watch the other video for the removal and installation of the alternator, then you know I've already taken off the serpentine belt. Here's the serpentine belt. This is just a tensioner pulley. You're going to hook a 15mm wrench on that, or a socket with a breaker bar or pry bar, and just move that thing counterclockwise, and that belt's going to come right off. And so that's what I've already done in the last video. So I have that off. Here's my air conditioning unit I'm going to remove, and I'll show you how to install. Very simple, very easily. So the belt is off now. I unclip the wiring harness. I have 3 bolts. There's one right here to the left. You can see it's on this housing of this bracket right here. Clearly, you can see where I've loosened it already. Clearly, it comes right off. The second one is going to be right up underneath on the same housing. I don't know if you can see that with my finger down there. It's the same brace as this over here. So if you follow it around, it's the same one. So there's those 2 bolts. The only wiring harness is this one, but there is a third bolt. It looks like it's out of place. You can see it here. There's not one here. There's nowhere on that ring is another bolt except right there. And that's because it mounts right back here. All these bolts are extremely long. They make it very simple for you to pull them off and to put them back on. They have no nuts on the other side. They screw right into the other side of the bracket. That nut is welded, so you don't have to hold a wrench or a socket over there like you used to on pre-80s, 70s vehicles. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this one off real quick, and I'll yank it right out of there. Okay, so I'm on that third nut. As you can see right here, the socket is hitting that pulley. So what you want to do is only pull that bolt out about halfway so that you're able to get that socket off, and then you do the rest by hand. And that's the same way with the one that is up underneath, because that one is extremely hard to get the socket back out. So that's what you want to do. As you can see now, I can get it off and I'm not hitting that lip. So the rest of it I want to do by hand. I had the same issue with, like I said, the one on the bottom. It was much easier just to do it by hand. I'm sticking this little bar down in here just to lift this up just a little bit, just to rock it. You see it move? Just to take the tension off of this bolt so that I'm able to get it out. And then turn it by hand. That's it. All 3 bolts are about the same size. You can't get them in wrong. So if you end up taking them out and you're like, oh, which bolt went where? They're all the same. So I don't know if you can see that or not. That top one did have a washer on it. Clearly you can tell when you replace it, the washer went there. The other 2 did not have a washer because they have that steel bracket that they ride up against. There's no need for a washer. So that's it. Now I'm just going to pop her out of there, and that's my AC unit. There she is. Now you can take her down and get another one and replace it if need be, or change the seals, whatever you got to do. These things really like to leak right there, where the 2 bolts came off the back of it. You can see the lines right here. There was 1 bolt there. I didn't show you. I took that off. Sorry about that. Right there. You see those 2 little rubber washers? That's where your AC leaks 90% of the time. So if you have a leak, take that 1 15mm bolt off the back of the AC unit and check out those washers. Replace them if needed. You can take them off and you can run them down to your auto parts store, and they can just match up the same size. Bring them back, put them back on, and probably take care of your leak. So when you install this, you do the exact same thing, but you do it backwards. You make sure that those 2 holes are up when you set it in there. You put it back in its hole. Set this bolt in there. Do not tighten it. Just go down a thread or 2. Set that bolt in there. Do not tighten it. Go down a thread or 2. Set that one in there. Do not tighten it. Go down a thread or 2. Then go back to your first one and wrench it in. Go all the way down with it, and then go all the way down with that one, and all the way down with that one. You'll find that if you don't tighten one, you'll be able to wiggle this a little bit and line up the other bolts a lot easier. So I find it's easier anyway. And at this point, you won't need the pry bar anymore. After you've installed it, put your clip in it. Put that 1 line back there with 1 bolt. That should just kind of press right in so both of them seal. And put your 15mm breaker bar, wrench, whatever you're going to use, socket on your tensioner. Pry it up. Lay your serpentine belt back in the way that it goes. And you should have schematics on the front of your vehicle somewhere showing how that goes. If you don't have it, let me know and I'll get you some schematics. And that's it. You've replaced your AC unit.